going to work on hot and cold today, right? So hot cold is an exercise that the whole idea is train the emotions, right? So get them emotional, get them hot, right? Get them excited, get them worried, get them anxious, and then tell them to relax, get them cold. How we get them hot is a couple different things. We can add distractions, we can add speed, we can say we're not going to tell them where to go. So we're going to do those things. We're going to add that. And you only want to add enough that you are not completely scared and terrified, and either is your horse, right? And then when we put cold, right? Cold meaning like relax, chill out. Like, I'm going to pay all your bills. You don't have to ever worry about bills again, right? That is going to be through disengaging the hip. We have a few different tools that we can use to do that. Today, we're going to use disengage the hip. So we're going to ask them to go, right? Get emotional, get excited. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to disengage their hip and I'm going to tell them to relax. When I disengage their hip, a couple things. You want to make sure that you only pick up with one rein. Make sure that you're not pulling on the other rein. That you pick up, you hold with the one rein until you feel them disengage and come to a stop. Right? Once they come to a stop, then release. Now, if they immediately go again, then just nice and easy, pick up the other rein or even pick up the same rein and tell them to disengage and stop. Like, don't pull back on both reins, right? Don't tell them to stop at the end of your disengaging. Just like if they disengage and you feel them kind of stop, release. If they immediately walk out, pick up that rein or the other rein, disengage, and then until they're standing calm again. Once they stand calm, let them stand for a second and then ask them to go again. Now, depending on your horse and how emotional they are, like some people could just get on and their horse is emotional. And so they'll start it right here. They'll just get on and they'll just immediately disengage, release, right? Ask their horse to walk. If the horse like looks up and like gets excited, then as soon as you feel emotions, I want you to pick up, I want you to hold, I want you to disengage them. Then release, let them stand here, and then ask them to go again, right? So again, depending on your horse, as soon as you feel emotions, right, pick up the rein and disengage. Now, like let's say like Kevin here, there's no emotions. There was that one the second time I asked him to walk, but that last time he didn't have any. Right. So now I'm going to add to it. So I'm going to ask him to walk. If there's no emotions, then maybe I'm just going to ask him to go. When I ask him to go, I'm just going to kick for no reason. Meaning, like, normally I prepare my horse. I let them know that I'm about to ask them to trot. I prepare them to know what I'm about to say to them. Here, I'm just going to shock them because I want them to go, bah, right? Like, I want that emotion. So I'm just going to kick them all of a sudden. Or I'm also not, or I shouldn't say or, I am also not going to tell them where to go. By by not guiding my horse, by not telling them what I want them to do, which is why a lot of horses are emotional out there in the first place, is because the rider's actually not being actively telling that horse where they want them to go. But that is a way to make a horse emotional. So in here, that is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to guide him. I'm just going to ask my horse to walk, not guide, and then I'm just going to ask for the trot. And as soon as I feel emotion, then I'm going to pick up. I'm going to hold. I'm going to disengage, and I'm going to let him relax. And then I'm going to ask him to walk. I'm going to ask him to trot or whatever, and then I'm going to pick up one rein, right? And I'm going to hold. I'm going to pull to my belly right there, and I'm going to hold until they disengage, they stop, and then I release, right? So make sure that like you just pick up, you hold, pull to that belly, and then pull hard enough to make them motivated to figure out what you want, right? I see a lot of people just barely hold on and the horse is still running away. You keep pulling until you make a change. And then if like it took like anything more than that, then that means that you've added too much emotion and they couldn't think, right? They can't still remember what you've taught them. So go back and work on just disengaging the hip at a calmer area, or a calmer place with them. Maybe come back to the walk and say, okay, I'll just walk and I'll work on making sure that you disengage quicker and better, get it softer, whatever you need, and then work your way back up to that emotion. Right. So here I'm going to ask them to go. And then right there, pick up, disengage, and then I'm going to ask them to go. Here I'm going to ask them more speed, and then I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to disengage, and I'm going to release. I'm going to let them stop, and then I'm going to ask them to go. Or I'm going to pick up the rein. I'm going to disengage, right? And I feel like I'm maybe making a little bit of emotion, so now I'm going to go ahead and ask them to lope. And then pick up. And even if I feel like they rushed into it, or they just got excited into it, or like they raised their head, anything I don't like, I can immediately pick up this rein and disengage, right? The more I disengage, the harder I am about feeling emotion in this exercise, the better they'll get, the quicker, right? You're going to do this exercise until you feel like you've made a change. Now, some of you might not feel comfortable loping yet. Don't, right? Do it for the 20 to 45 minutes, whatever, and just see if you can get your horse and you to feel better, adding a little bit of emotion. And each time that you do this, you'll get better and better at it. You'll be able to ask for more, right? You're going to be able to ask for a faster trot or ask for a faster lope or whatever. So whatever you're comfortable with, push yourself to that. Push yourself to pushing emotions and then shutting them down. If you don't have any emotions with the walk, trot, lope, and not telling them where to go and your horse is dead calm, then move on. And or add distractions. Put some tarps up on your arena fence. Put some banners up there. Put a blower machine. Put some kids opening and closing umbrellas. Put things out. That would distract your horse, that you would get a chance to pick up this rein and disengage. Right? So hot, cold, getting emotional. Tell them to relax. Do as much as you possibly can, because this exercise makes it to where it gets harder and harder and harder to make them emotional. So put as much out here as you possibly can in a step-by-step approach, and then move on to the next exercise. So have fun with it. Good luck, and be safe. Disengage.